On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're here to talk to you about GUDAGUDA YAMATAI, and also GUDAGUDA YAMATAI. It's funny how that works. Hello, I am one of your hosts. I am Dogu Omega, and with me as always, Haniwa Lucky. We're very statuesque today. Notifications, I need to mute my Discord server.
Well, while you do that, I hope everyone's enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka the Rice Fields. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events about the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should return to Yamatai.
Which people will be doing. We'll discuss that later. There's some interesting things going on here that we'll break into. But first, I would like to remind everybody this episode is brought to you by patrons like Adam DeHarp, Architect 10, Black Soji, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Just the Fae, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss, Deline Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Will Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, Sergeant 23, and then The Crow. If you like what we do, let's do more. Consider supporting us on Patreon. We access episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you.
You bought me a new controller. It's nice. Also, it feels heavier for some reason. I don't know if that's just natural wear and tear on the DualSense or what. Anyway, I'll talk more about that on What's Up another day. We're here for Let's Talk FGO, and we do actually have a decent show for you today. Not only is there a decent amount of news rolling out, JP actually has content. Funny how that works. But there will be a pregame because the new GUDAGUDA event is rapidly approaching. If you guys have been not keeping track and just been relying on pure clairvoyance, well, guess what? You're fucked. Because, boy, howdy, is it going to get weird. But in, like, a good way. And we'll move swiftly on, because I don't have a pro tip this week. Chat didn't have anything for me. Just kind of said, not go ham on hunting quests, which I understand, to go from Lotto to hunting quest to a new event. At least the primo farming in Yamatai is mostly timer-based, so you don't need to worry about grinding it, per se. You just need to make sure to wake up every 8 hours to get your free QP. I'm joking. Or am I? But anyway, let's move swiftlos on to our Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic.
It's just me for me. I decided to put this in because I know some people will be asking, but I was able to complete 78 boxes with the Lotto. My second archive is almost filled with 4-star embers. This is after I basically used all the silver embers to get mana prisms to buy even more servant space, so I can fit even more embers.
Yeah.
Just sitting on a small gold mine. Yeah. I'm just sitting on a small gold mine. I'm just all like, what do I do with these? I should use them, or should I?
But they are just 4-star embers.
Yeah.
You want to save those.
If they're 5 stars, I'd start using it for other stuff, but oof. When are we going to get Lottos with 5-star embers?
I don't actually know. I assume sometime, but I don't know if we've done that yet. When was the last Lotto event? Okay, when you say this year, what do you mean by that? Do we have another Lotto this year?
In EN?
If it was there was one Lotto earlier this year in JP. Okay, so the new battle in Greece Tesla Land, whatever the hell we called it. Okay, that was 5-star embers? Alright. Okay, so we gotta wait a couple of years. Does at least mean that Lasengel has been very dedicated to upgrading to 5-star embers. Because obviously with the replacement of the monthly bonuses in the shops, and then obviously Lottos. So, pretty good stuff.
Good stuff.
But yeah, I just hit my normal cap there on Lotto boxes. It was fine. I still have plenty of QP, and I don't really need a heck of a lot of EXPs. I'm still good on there. Need to double check my skill drims. But we will move on to, did you finish your master missions? Which, to be fair, you might not have. They're a little eclectic this week. So, what you're going to need to do to complete them is get 15 EXP drops in battle, get 30 EXP drops, defeat 3 archers, lancers, riders, or assassins, defeat 3 sabers, casters, or berserkers, and then defeat both 15 male and female enemies. Those are separate ones. You may have knocked out some of these with your, with your wrap-up on Lotto. And if you've been participating in hunting quests, you can scratch out a couple of them. For instance, I believe that one is already passed, but if you were doing the Valkyrie one, those enemies were female, so you should have cleared that already. And those drop EXPs a lot. Other than that, I would just say that the easiest way to do this is looking like Septum Massalia, because that'll get you 3 riders, 3 berserkers, 3 female, 15 male. You just do it 3 times. And then do Okiona's Bountiful Sea for just cleaning up all the female enemies. So you can probably pick that up from your Aurora Seal drops if you didn't already. And like I said, there's a lot of other stuff out there. So should be pretty simple, but you might have to go out of your way a little if you're just doing hunting quests. All right, delete that tab. Type it over here.
Brandon, you give me hope.
That means we can move straight on to the news, which we do have quite a bit this week. Don't got a lot of preamble, got a lot of news.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, just general status alert. It's already passed, obviously, several days ago, but it still happened. NA hit 1,900 days. That was the 6th. You got 10 sync courts if you logged in during that time period. It's a lot of days. Not many days JP, but it's a lot of days. We also got our direct confirmation of GUDAGUDA Yamatai-koku 2022. It is coming. It will start the 14th of September and go to the 27th. I do have a pregame written for later. That will be after the mailbag break. So stay forward to that. Stay forward. Stay tuned. Look forward. Mm-hmm. Look tuned. Don't click away or click the time code in the future to go there. Now, listen to the rest of it, but you'll arrive at that code eventually in time. Anyway, the only thing we have, because there's not even like an official news entry for it, it's just the special site announcement. So we're still fairly early. We've just got the preamble and the confirmed banner for Himiko and Saito Hajime. They have not actually, I think, shown like Nobukatsu as a limited time servant yet, but I'm sure we'll get our release drop there. Who knows, maybe this weekend we'll get another like dev diary update because it is a new month.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Or something, we're just kind of rolling out pretty early. We'll probably get full-blown announcements soon. Also, stay tuned for a wanted Himiko at some point in the upcoming week. I have a few days to work on that. But yeah, so we've got our confirmation that's coming, when and where, and we'll get there soon. Other than that, NA kind of cruising on those last couple days of hunting quests. But JP has moved right along. They have started Road to 7 Lost Belt 4. So we have our usual Road to 7 stuff. You can do interludes for Lost Belt 4 peeps without summoning them. There are also 2 new interludes with this batch. Arjuna Alter gets a St. Quartz interlude, and Jinako gets a skill interlude. Her 3rd skill now gives the target, because that's the targetable invul one, 20 to 30% NP damage up, and 30 to 50% damage versus lawful enemies up for 3 turns. So that should round out both her NP damage and anybody else you're targeting there. So that's nice. Always good to see to kind of work on those damage potentials. There's some limited missions based on LB4 free quests you can do to get some extra stuff, like some mana prisms and things. As usual, there's a wealth of smoothing the road type stuff. You've got quarter AP up to LB4, half AP on LB4 free quests. You've got, for all LB4 gang servants, it's quite a list, but it's the ones you would expect. You've got half AP interludes and rank ups, double EXP, double FP when you use them, and 30% bond. So just in general, a big emphasis on your Lost Belt 4 team. We also got some rank ups in addition to interludes as well. So Lakshmi Bai's 3rd skill has been ranked up. It now gives her 10 to 20% quick and NP gain up for 3 turns. I've been told by people that this does allow her, when the skill is fully maxed, to start looping.
Sick.
Which is something that she was kind of lacking before. Came out in the middle of that quick meta, but wasn't quite perfectly attuned to it. And obviously, just in general, even if you're not set up for or you've pivoted away from like outright quick looping meta, in general, with the way looping works, that requires you to do usually a certain amount of overkill and have a certain amount of NP gain. So this is probably just going to generally round out Lakshmi Bai's NP gain and damage numbers in general as well. Like, obviously, it's an NP steroid and enables looping. Sorry, my pop filter has become skew-whiffed. Let me fix that. Right, so obviously, like, that's, gone in a certain way. But it should just generally up her consistency as well. Additionally, Neja has also gotten an upgrade to Skill 3 as well. It now drops 5 to 15 stars and also gives Neja 30 to 50% damage up and 20 to 30% defense up against demonic enemies for 3 turns. So adding a little bit of trait damage and trait resistance, very interesting. Let me see, I think that's the same skill that's Neja's Guts as well. Let me double check. But Lancers are kind of known for their, solo tanking capabilities. There are a lot of famous Lancers who are very enduring. Ku, Leonidas, even Gareth. No, okay, that's the Debuff Cleanse and Star Absorb, so it's not the Guts, but Neja does have a Guts and Battery already that's pretty good. That's the self-debuff skill and 1-turn Star Absorb up. So that increases your critical longevity and gives you some extra damage. That's pretty good. Again, seems like we're just rounding out consistency and performance. Not going to break the game, but still pretty good. There are recollection quests as well, the usual number. You've got 3 tickets and 30 teapots available if you do these. The recollection quests, I believe, are the Neja fight from Lost Belt 4, which was a fairly distinct one. It's the super, God, it's a lot of HP.
Bonk.
First bar is 2 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then there's 2 more bars. Admittedly, this is the one where Neja does 10k damage to herself every turn, but still. And then the second one is obviously the Karna Super Karna Arjuna altar fight, obviously. And then the last one is actually the fight you do with the tree and with Ashwatthman. So that's a fairly interesting one. That's the Cryptor fight with your boy Pepe. Spicy peppers. So, still seems like they're picking some solid selections.
Yeah.
Having some fun. Doing some fun times. There's also a big boy collection of summon campaigns. There is a banner each for Arjuna Altar. Called it, by the way. I was like, I wonder if they'll do them again. They might.
They did!
They did.
People
2 in the
rejoice.
same year, guys. They're making up.
They are.
But also, Karna and Jinako have separate rate-ups, and all the time, you are looking at a rate-up on Rama, Neja, Lakshmibai, Ashwatthman, William Tell, and Asclepius, plus the LB4 CE. So, while a decent number of these servants are permanent, some of them are story-locked, and there are quite a wealth of them to roll in this collection.
We do got, we'll talk about it in a minute. We do got a new event coming up, but this is actually a pretty good banner.
Yeah,
Ooh.
This is a solid infusion.
Yeah.
No Karna buff. I know a lot of people are talking about it. I think there may even have been some jokes about the Karna's 25% battery. But still, they are bringing rate ups, I think, to rank ups, to 4 stars that need it. And hey, there was another Arjuna Altar rate up, so pretty decent. And they managed to really cram, I think, everybody in there in these banners. So very solid. And with Jinako getting a skill entry, that's 3 buffs they did. So that's very nice. But yes, as Lucky alluded, there is indeed an announcement for the next new event coming up after the Road to 7 period. We have, and I quote, overwhelming tea ceremony battle, GUDAGUDA Shin Yamataikoku, the man who returned from hell.
I love Japanese names.
Yeah. So we have a new GUDAGUDA event. There will be a stream. I believe they said it is a light Chaldea broadcasting on the 14th. So presumably it will start then because that's also when the Road to 7 stuff ends. They have announced ahead of time that the bonus servants are going to be the GUDAGUDA crew. Everybody who has appeared in previous GUDAGUDA events will be there. Welfares and all. And I said this in my notes, and even Lucky talked about it as well off mic. This has to be deliberate timing by Lysenko, right, guys? Because we're going to do GUDAGUDA Yamataikoku. This is labeled Shin Yamataikoku, and they're basically going to start at the same time. JP's going to have their stream and presumably start the event on their 14th, and then within hours, we will be rolling out our own, the original GUDAGUDA Yamataikoku event. So it's very tightened up, and that's weird because in JP's schedule, this was not where the original GUDAGUDA Yamataikoku was at all. That was, I think it was late October. I'm pretty sure it was the Halloween slot that year. It might have been early October, but it's like a month early for us. So, yeah, interesting choices going around, I guess. There are also a lot of speculation about what could be new servants. We don't really have a lot to go on pre-stream. The CM isn't animated, it's just text and backgrounds, which are nice.
I wonder if they're going to try and push up Nightingale's Christmas up to a more seasonally appropriate time and push something forward.
It sounded like that's what they were going to do, because they said that Lost Belt 5.5, the next Lost Belt would be in November, late November.
Yeah.
That was early December, technically, because remember, it has a pre-release campaign on it as well. So that'll probably be like the stuff that happens like right after our Thanksgiving blitz. That would leave December basically open for new and old Christmas.
It probably means they might do Imaginary Scramble then mid to late October then, maybe?
Sounds about right, yeah. That would probably be appropriate. I think we still got some wiggle room. We might even have some quote-unquote dead weeks where we really don't got anything going on. They'll probably come up with something. Obviously, they have, Thanksgiving stuff to do. There's a few other things they can spice up. But yeah, we don't have that many new events left. Let's see. Because it was... Saber Wars 2 was last year's Halloween slot for us, right? That was the joke about Halloween is dead. I left it in the previous era, right? So that rerun doesn't come out for a while, so it's not like we can squeak that in there. That would be fucking wild. I do not think they're going to do that. So we got a little bit of wiggle room, but I think they're going to make it work. But yeah, very interested to see what the new GUDAGUDA is, obviously. There's a eternally large backlog of NPCs. Which, I mean, and at this point, Losangle and Tight Moon and everybody has basically said, yeah, there's no way we're going to get to all of the NPC characters. Sorry.
I do think they're going to make an effort to get some of them out, but...
Yes, Losangle, I mean, obviously, even before then, Delightworks, we were joking about Delightworks breaking memes, but Losangle definitely seems to have focused on actually, like, chipping out some of those new servants and getting some oldies in there. I mean, they gave Arjuna Alter 2 raid-ups in the same year. Pretty wild. So... There's definitely some suggestions, and with the subtitle of The Man Who Returned from Hell, I believe the JP fanbase is speculating wildly about, like, what returning character that could be, if any. And it might, you don't know, we'll see. We've obviously had some interesting interactions with a number of SSRs and events before. Summer had 3, for instance, and several separate banners. And with events running 3 weeks, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that this will probably be like how they handled the summer event just now, where, like, this will go for 3 weeks, right? So we'll probably have 1 banner first week. We may or may not have a second banner next week. And then the third week will almost assuredly be, we don't have anything else for you. Here's a rerun banner of last year's GUDA-GUDA. So that would be, I blanked on her name for a second. Dance Lady. I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's correct. Izumo. And also Big Boy Lancer Ryoma. I presume there will be a rerun banner for them, even though their event won't be rerun. It'd be how it be. So we'll see how that shakes them out. I mean, it could be Mitsuhide.
No, I'm guaranteed they're gonna add someone out of fucking left field. They mentioned, like, Great Tea Ceremony banners, so I'm assuming that fucking Sen no Riko is just gonna show up with, big tea ceremony MP or something.
Yeah. Well, and with GUDA-GUDA, we don't really... Those banners are always, like, a toss-up on, like, who's actually in them, because GUDA-GUDA has been the source of several limited 3-stars.
Yep.
And also a limited 1-star. That's the upcoming one with Nobukatsu. So they could really strike a lot of zones at once, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it could be... Somebody in chat just said Maxwell's Demon. Like, we could see, like, 1-star caster Maxwell's Demon, right?
Well, I'm getting more hope because, like they did back in Anniversary, they're like, boom, 3-star caster, yo. So
yeah, there's quite a few things they could do, and we'll see in a few days.
I'm hoping
they are actually doing a stream, so I spent a little bit of pomp and circumstance.
I'm expecting a 6 CM. Please don't disappoint.
Yep. In the regular GUDAGUDA Yamatai-koku, there's a lot of turtle. There's a lot of turtle in the CM.
Turtle.
But we also have another news point that may actually come up later in some stuff, but it's been reported through some analysis and some tweets. So since it started, adjusted to US dollars, FGO has made something like $6 billion in revenue. I wrote in my notes profit, but technically it says revenue in the original tweet. I don't know if that was specified by whomst. Those are technically different, but still, 6 billion USD, pretty big chunk. Depending on how much of that is getting, put up the pipe, that means that Sony is certainly going to get a return on their investment, I think. And we should note that is FGO as basically like a franchise. So a bulk of that money and a bulk of its downloads are JP, obviously, just because it's been running longer and is, bigger and slightly more popular. But USA, and that may possibly just be the USA, branded server, which is actually lots of places, stretching across multiple oceans. That's still a significant chunk of the profits and downloads, despite being 2 years behind. I believe that USA server was about 10% of the downloads and about 5% of the revenue, which, again, when you're talking about $6 billion, like, technically 5.6%, I think it was, something like that, that's a lot of money. I mean, I can understand why USA is a lower point of the revenue. Well, it's still only like 60% is Japan. 10% is China, which... That still a little floors me. Especially with how crazy the censorship is these days. Well, Japan was... I don't know if Japan's percentage was actually numbered, was the thing. I think it was just the assumption was that Japan was the rest. Because technically, Korea should be in there somewhere. China was counted. I know those guys are big spenders. Yeah, you found the tweet. Okay, so it does say for 20% of the revenue. China's 8.5. Well, actually, that makes sense. So in the tweet, this is by Cars, by the way, who you probably know. At Kadoshumi Idiad. China is 23% of the downloads, but only 8.5% of the profit. Makes sense. One, I know that China is actually working on some restrictions to such spending on such things, but also given, like, how they're getting with, like, censoring arts and sprites and other stuff. I suspect some of the marketing teeth is being sucked out of FGO. But yeah, USA is still 10% of the downloads, obviously, that's collective, and, like I said, 5.6, I mean, if that's Legendary who's talking about how Korea shouldn't count, then China shouldn't count either. That's licensed through somebody else as well. It may just be that, especially after their own Part 1 incident and accelerated schedule, Korea is such a smaller slice of the profit and the downloads. Because I know that after their own incident with mismanaged and mislabeled rate ups and kind of the bad attitudes with the way their Solomon rates went, I know that the Korea server has been less and less popular.
Well, the link does go to the news article. They have a graph here.
Okay, yeah, it's graphs. The graph is in Japanese though, so it's a little hard to tell. But it's, $6.3 billion. They've kind of talked about its ups and downs,
Yeah, no, it looks like they just listed the top 3, and it looks like they have... Yeah, and it's the 3 biggest, which is Japan, US, and China, respectively. Looks like there's 3 other entries, which I am assuming is the Korean and...
I believe there is technically a separate, and who knows, maybe this is the Chinese one they mean, but I believe there is technically a separate Taiwanese server. They may also be like, again, this graph might be weird, broken up by Google Play. They might be counting the different regions that the USA server technically goes to separately. Yes, Axe, that's total over the 7 years. Yes. From release to the 7th anniversary, because they say until August, the total revenue has exceeded 6.3. Also, once again, that's revenue, not profit. So that's just like how much cash they've made, presumably purely on St. Court's sales. Though I don't know, because I don't know how like licensing goes back and forth. But that's not accounting for like how much they're paying out in like obviously, staff payments, advertising, etc. Yeah, revenue is technically also called gross sales, so it's basically just like all the money they generate, and then that's not like how much actual profit they're making. Probably, hey, go for it. And it's kind of funny to see this in the original news article, this graph, right? They've got a line graph for like where it was on the App Store, and like, number 1 through early August, right about when we got their some of their like anniversary stuff, and then squigglies down, kind of falling, and then rolling back. Interesting. Tower of Fantasy's making a fuck ton of money, apparently.
Well, new shiny things do tend to make a lot of money very quickly.
True.
It's usually a game's worth is usually found in its staying pattern rather than its initial burst.
Yeah, and that's the thing we can say about FGO, right? Like I'm looking at this other line graph. FGO is currently number 2 between Tower of Fantasy and then Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal's making that much money because it's a whalefest game. It's designed to hook big spenders and suck their money out. Like from everybody that's discussed it, it's really, really pay to win, profit driven. So naturally, they're making a lot of money. Will anybody be playing that game in 7 years? No. I'm gonna call my shot. No, they're not.
No, the thing about like people need to understand about like long like these I don't even necessarily want to call it this mobile game market is that it's not those instantaneous it's not those maintaining those high maintaining those number 1 slots. It's basically putting out on with regularity content that basically shoots you up to number 1, which excuse me, FGO does do on the reg. When nothing's going on, of course no one's spending money on the game. Nothing's going on, but you can say with basically semi-regularity, whenever FGO debuts like a new event with new banners and Cs, like people just whip out that credit card and be like, it's go time.
Yeah.
So
and again, keep in mind, it's still making those highs, even though they've introduced, pity system, right? They've done a lot of stuff to improve for players as well. I kind of feel like, and I don't know, it might just be other people I follow who feel like getting more in the mix and getting in the mud and fighting about it. I kind of feel like this tweet has like circulated some like FGO haters out there. Like I'm seeing some more stuff floating across my timeline, some more people eating some Twitter blocks. I know that there's a certain like hipstery way to be like, oh well, it's so popular because it's just a cash grab,
everything's a cash grab.
Yeah, or it's so bland. I don't care. Who cares about the store? Well, guess what, guys? Somebody fucking cares. Consistently number 1 at the App Store, and like you said before, it'll it'll swing back pretty rapidly, right? Like,
Right.
they're back to being kind of in the middle of the list, but I'm sure, if they do bust out a new GUDA-GUDA servant who is, like, anticipated, they'll probably see that swing, back up. That's the thing with FGO, is for 7 years it has been delivering this type of content with these characters, with these stories. And honestly, the stories and the characters are the big sellers, because those are usually when people go apeshit, right? Like, I think, before Trom earlier this year, it was like, oh, FGO's like, number 28. You roll out some new story content and some new story banners, and boom, number 1, right? Obviously, Anniversary and other stuff like that will bring in people, but just regular content updates seem to bring people back, so it's pretty interesting. I do kind of feel like in the West, FGO doesn't really get, the crazy credit for this kind of stuff it does. And to be fair, some of that is probably because it's not quite peaking in the same way because the market is different. Like, I don't actually think FGO has shot to, like, the top of, like, an American App Store list. Yeah, the Fate marketing presence is definitely different. I'm kind of hoping that it sounds like this year they're trying to turn that around. Like, there was a pretty decent push for the Mahayoi localization, right? And I feel like with Extra Record around the corner somewhere.
Honestly, the thing about Fate is Fate almost just markets itself. We live in this is the thing about social media. People, honestly, most big, franchises don't necessarily need to do a lot of marketing. They just need to say, hey, we're doing this thing. Put that on a social media, and then, people who follow said account will, retweet, talk about it, share it, and it just flows that way.
Yeah.
So, honestly, marketing has become,
And let's not say that, Aniplex USA or whatever is not throwing out the dollars. We talked before about how they had, at AX, for instance, in previous years, they've had, fucking bus wraps and giant banner ads, right? In fucking downtown LA, which I'm sure is hella expensive. But in the year 2022, I don't actually know how much reach that has, right? Obviously, it's really cool. I retweeted something I saw last night where somebody was, super excited because there's a fucking Netflix, JoJo Part 6 ad that was in, Times Square over a Starbucks, right? On one of those big video billboards. And, yeah, that's expensive, and that's a huge reach. And we've talked about this before. Anime is definitely becoming more mainstream, more acceptable. That might get some people,
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you're just as likely to get people when they, freaking log into Netflix, and Netflix is like, yo, you want to watch JoJo? Or today when I log into Netflix to watch a cooking show, and it's just like, hey, new season of Cobra Kai, and I'm like, fuck. I've already got 5 things to watch. Netflix? And they're like, too bad. I'm sure when I log in on the 13th, they're gonna be like, yo, dogs, Cyberpunk Edge Runner, and I'm gonna be like, yes, click.
Shit.
I'm gonna be like, click, yes. But yeah, like you said, social media has a very different reach, and obviously I know that Twitter has been adjusting how they handle, the what's happening trending and stuff like that, but I definitely feel like every single time anything at all happens in Fate, something is trending on my Twitter, right?
Right.
Anytime there's a new content update, it's like, Fate is trending. Artoria is trending. I saw Castoria trending 2 days ago for probably no reason, it's just kind of out there in the oeuvre, in the ethos. I think the main thing is just that what these big numbers represent is, one, this means that Papa Sony is probably getting their money's worth, so they're probably going to continue to support it, and not just support the game through its planned years of setup. They've talked about having at least 10 years of content, and again, that was 2 years ago, so God knows. They may be going for another 7 years at this stage, right?
Why not?
Well, they just updated to a new version of Unity in JP, so...
Sick.
They keep doing them updates. Tell you to make sure to download some data so you don't get an excess of loading screens. But also, that's where you're going to see additional support, more marketing, more investment in secondary media, like mangas, like animes, movies, etc. Obviously, this, $6 billion US, allegedly, 5 of which has been, in JP. That's why they can afford to have, frickin' stage shows, right? It's obviously profitable that way, but this may be how we get, a console version of Arcade, or maybe they do standalone titles that are technically FGO-related. I know a lot of people have been talking about, because this seems to be a direction other games are going, is, 3D arena games. Azure Lane had their 3D action game a while ago. That's one of the directions that Girls Frontline is going. Obviously, Hoyoverse is really stepping up their game with a lot of like proper 3D action games they're working on in their art style. So like, it kind of feels like the mobile game space is kind of changing and diversifying, because there's still a lot of money to be had there, but like, I feel like a lot of these companies with these franchises realize that they can't just stay in the phone game space because it's really packed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they need to find a way to like convert their long-term users to games, and some of the new games, I think, like, try and hook in their users with the sunk cost fallacy. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what Diablo Immortal's going for, right? Like, they're hunting for whales, and they're trying to get you hooked in by making you, like, invest in, like, your Diablo Immortal build, and you keep playing and stuff like that. I don't know much about Tower Fantasy other than it is an MMO that has gacha elements, which sounds atrocious in so many ways, but I'm weird. But, like, if you can build the dedicated following and you have these, like, giga profits, you can continue to develop your properties in new ways that actually get out there, right? And can get more eyes and get more appreciation. And while I know we bitch every year at the Video Game Awards that, you know, the mobile games category is usually full of crap nobody likes, Genshin at least got the attention last year, right?
Yeah.
And, I think that Genshin kind of did the right thing by, like, blending consoles and phones and PC and etc., right? I think that is technically something that Raid does as well, Raid Shadow Legends, which is... I still see them running ads, so... Yes, I mean Genshin, haha. It was very funny at the time. Raid clearly makes enough money that they can continue to pay content creators who aren't us, damn it. But I think they've got kind of that hybridization model. FGO, I think, is probably a little too old to straight up make the jump to, like, Steam or PS5, right? Like, I don't know how the programming would work. Though if they switch to a new version of Unity, I guess they could put FGO on your PS5. I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't tried that, because I know that consoles are a little bit more of a closed environment than PC. Obviously, if you dumped FGO on Steam, people would probably start picking it apart, and that might cause problems. I know that Genshin has a shitload of, like, regular content leaks, presumably because they're doing, like, closed or open beta testing and like, preloading patches and stuff, right? So, FGO doesn't usually have that issue. Obviously, we very recently had some very accurate leaks or pre-intel about Summer that we still don't know the exact source of, but FGO is usually much more chaotic with leaks, right? So, but on a console, I don't know how much you can get in the guts there, because just the way they're designed, so... I'm actually a little surprised if they're, like, running on new versions of Unity. They haven't tried a console port. Would I play FGO on my console? Probably not, just because of account switching, and I like the multitasking. It would make streaming easier. Rather than having to boot up an emulator, I just plug in my capture card, but, you know, the way account binding and stuff works is a little weird. So if I could get it attached to my PSN. But anyway, yeah, like, so, I think for older franchises like FGO, what my point was originally was that, you're probably going to see them start to branch out in new ways and, like, find new spaces. And we don't know what that is for FGO yet, but I do kind of feel like Type Moon is trying to make a greater push on the West. Well, how does Pokemon get leaked? Is it because they're offering you pre-downloads? You get to preload your pre-order? Or are people, like, hacking the storm? Oh, it's just beta testers. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that, right? If people just break NDA and leak the beta, you can't do anything about that other than, you know, put them in the ground. That's an interesting conversation for later, and if any of the fans have whatchamacallit, like, you know, any insight on this, be sure to let me know, because that's something I'm always curious about, is, like, how we actually get leaks, because that's part of the, like, integrity process of verifying if a leak or a spoiler is real, right? Because the like I said, the summer and anniversary leaks for FGO turned out to be completely true, but everybody was just like, yeah, I don't know, these were just posted on a Discord, so are they true? I don't fucking know. How would I verify this? We still don't know how that person got that. Like, are they an employee? Are they a beta tester? Are they just a god, a troll in the data? Who knows? But yeah, there's definitely some different wiggle room out there for a few things, and I feel like Fate definitely is trying to push more Western-y. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was, you know, Melted Blood release, which was quite well received. They were in an Evo, right? Announced some news. And there was the big announcement about Mahoyo. I don't know if we're gonna see Mahoyoru on any end of the year award lists or anything. I do believe it comes out in December. I think is when they said the release window was. Do we have a hard and fast date?
I'm trying to remember. Isn't it this December?
I feel like it was winter and December.
I feel like I think it's December, late December.
This may be one reason why video games stopped doing demos.
December 8th. That's what it was.
December 8th. Okay, yeah.
I knew it was December. I just couldn't remember what day.
Yeah. Will we see Mahoyoru at the Video Game Awards? Probably not, but we can hope. And who knows? Maybe some of the publishers can can stuff some dollar bills in Jeff Keighley's back pocket, as you do. You never know. It's I feel like Type Moon has been a pretty heavy hitter in the visual novel industry for a while. It's just the problem was that not a lot of the games were out over here, It's why there is a certain mystique of elitism among some Type Moon fans, and then the rest of the Type Moon fans have this mystique of just, murmur, we're just a fan service, murmur. It's more than that, guys. There's a reason why this game has made $6 billion. But yeah, I feel like I've meandered through a couple of those topics for a while there. We managed to pad out the show pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty big one. I think we'll get a couple of questions like that in mailbag as well, so we'll probably share some more thoughts on it. But yeah, $6 billion is a lot.
A lot of money. Alright, then with that, let us move on to this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have 11? Actually, let me refresh here.
Yeah, I'm still weirded out by that. Again, because we get the notifications, I'm like, I could have sworn there were more of these.
Yes, 11. So, let's move through them. And this first one comes from the master who was briefly in possession of QP. Sounds about right. I'm almost at 300 million for once in my life, and I'm just all like, this is just a drop in the bucket. It will go so quickly if I actually decide to spend it. Why?
Yeah, it's gonna leave you.
Gonna leave me. Anyway, they say, dear Lucky Omega, no question this week, just sending you good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And wishing you a luck and this year's Nobu hunting season. Thanks, and keep up the great work. Same to you. Hopefully this time next week we will be in those rice fields, motherfucker. But we move on. Oh, unless Omega has something to say?
Nope. Just giving a thumbs up.
This next one comes from Moon is overwhelmed by assignments. They say, question, hello there, Omega and Lucky. Hope you're doing well. What's your favorite book series? Favorite book series, huh? I think it's not necessarily the best answer, and I can't say if it's necessarily my favoriteest of all time, but I'm just gonna go with the one that popped into my head first. Jim Butcher's Codex Alera.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. I like it because it's classic. Classic Jim Butchery. Has a lot of neat and memorable characters, a lot of twists and turns, and most of all, the story is complete.
Yep.
Clocking in at what, six books?
Yes, 6 books. Unlike Jim Butcher's other series and his other series. Where's the next Aeronauts Windless, Jim?
Mm-hmm. But actually, it's a very interesting story that spans over many, many years. It shows a young boy growing into his own and going even further beyond. Lots of might and magic and sorcery and all that stuff. Yes,
it's Jim Butcher's love letter to sword and sandal type stuff. Very classic sword and sorcery. He talked about this in one of the afterwards or forwards. It was inspired a lot by just the kind of movies and books he would read or see on TV randomly when he was just sick and staying home from school, kind of stuff. So it's a big deal for him.
Like I said, I usually go through the audiobook at least once, the audiobook series at least once a year.
Yep.
I don't do that with a lot of series.
Yeah, that's fair.
I couldn't do that with Harry Trust. I couldn't do that with Harry Trust, and I really couldn't.
Yeah, that was definitely kind of the factor for me. I thought about this one as well. Had to put some thought into it. Oh, out of what has given me the most joy and highs and lows and influence on me over the year, it's definitely Jim Butcher's Dresden Files.
Yeah,
but god damn, are those books long and getting longer all the time. It's very hard for me to go back and I do what everybody does, and I skip the first 2 books every time anyway. And sometimes I skip the third one just because it's such an emotional gut punch. An often problem with the Dresden Files series. It's very thick and heady, but obviously it's done a lot for me. And so, I would probably say that's up there in my favorites, though obviously, it's still not done. There's a lot of stuff to work through. But I also, as a classic Starfighter head myself, I also have to shout out the original X-Wing novel series and the Wraith Squadron novels that follow up on that. Those 3 by oh gosh, his name is escaping me now. It's really bad. Aaron Alston was Wraith Squadron, but the original X-Wings were.
Was it Timothy Zahn?
No, he was did the Thrawn series. I'm gonna punch myself for not remembering this one. Stackpole, Michael A. Stackpole, yes. A very well-known sci-fi author. Also did a lot of work for BattleTech over the years. But like you said, the metric that like he goes back and listens to Codex Alera like at least once a year. I usually go through and reread those books once a year as well. Just whenever I feel the need. But those original, 6 or 7 X-Wing novels, I do the same thing. Like I read those at least once a year as well. And that's I think a real magic of if you have a book series that you can keep going back to and keep feeling the vibes, that's very, very critical to saying it's your favorite ever. And there you go, there's my thoughts on that. That does remind me I need to read more. Fucking the next Locked Tomb book is like next week, Lucky.
I know,
is it also the 13th? Is it the same day as Cyberpunk? Are we just fucking knackered?
We're a little knackered.
I still have a couple of L5R books I need to catch up on. Maybe I should start reading more. I've been having trouble going to sleep because it's so freaking hot. Maybe I should spend more time reading.
I need to get more time getting a few things done.
Yeah, I need to pivot to some video game stuff. I'm like 90% done with Saints Row.
Ugh. I've actually switched to Yakuza 0 for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, we shall move on.
Yep.
This next one comes from the weasel that is clenching his incomplete golden tears set in irritation. Oof. Oof. Excuse me, sorry. Stomach being a little gurgly there. Oof. But they say, I hope you're both doing okay and staying safe within crazy weather you two may face this year. I'm fine. Everyone else is fucking on fire, and I'm just we have a haze, which is probably because there's some sort of fucking giant fucking California fire going on right now.
Yeah, I'm just hot and rainy alternatively. I will, knock on wood, but we have actually not had any problems with a hurricane season yet this year, so I did actually knock on my desk, by the way, in case you didn't hear that.
It's always weird just to go outside, and even though you can't see, like, the haze, you know it's there. Just everything just seems like a slightly off color. Just
yeah.
Like,
Same with, like fog or other just, like, obscure stuff where you're just kind of like, huh, this is, different. It's not really bad, but it's not normally how this looks.
Oh.
Oh, you people in your dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
It is actually cool for once. I think it's about, relatively cool. I think it's about 76 degrees and cloudy. I'll probably have to open my window up after this.
Weather alert. Fire warning.
Hang
on, let me check something here. Oh, it's a Tacoma wildfire. Well, not Tacoma wildfire, but no, we got fires in, Oh, this is the warnings we have. Let's see here. Yeah, no, we just got a lot of... We actually got a few wildfires going around over here.
That's what happens when it's hot and dry.
Just open up the damn game again, Legendary. You'll see it. If you got something new, you'll be down there at the bottom with your other level 1s. And if you didn't, well, good luck figuring that out. Me and the Blue Archive crew have been going absolute ape shit over the latest event because we finally got Wakamo in game. So we've been vibing very hard with that. Sorry, I was just double checking. Yeah, so no, actually, it's not California wildfires. We got our own wildfires going on. Heck. Fucking pink, demonic circle pink thing. Pink signs. You'd have to actually tell me at what point they showed up, because it could just be a visual effect from a part of it. Like I say, game crashing is always weird. But let me see here. My question for you, as I continue with what here. Right after you did the signature. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure, that's, if you got pink circles, I believe that's part of the effect when a standard roll turns into a 3-star roll. I think there might be some circle effects in there. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't pay attention that hard. I just know that if I'm suddenly go from like blue to pink, it's all like, yes, good shit time.
The goodest of shit.
Shit. Alright. But this person goes on to say that's not proper grammar. This person goes on to say, my question for you both is, with how NA/Global FGO has brought in more countries for its service locations, do you think this will improve word of mouth of FGO and Fate in general? I saw a tweet from Kuroshi/Car saying FGO's lifetime revenue as of August 2022 was 6.3 billion USD, and that JP counts for 80% of the revenue and 40% of the downloads, and US comes in at 5.6 rev and 10.8% downloads. And with that, I feel spurred on Matt. What are your opinions about this? Wishing you both a good weekend. Well, we talked about this earlier. And
yeah, to the specific question of, like, adding new service locations, does that improve word of mouth? Probably. Like, I mean, in general, I know a lot of people just play with VPNs and other shit anyway, right? But I do think some people are kind of like, oh, well, this is now in my official, Play App Store, and I'm sure that, Google and Apple and stuff are, like, being, like, when you are a normal customer who's not, like, zipping yourself around, you get those alerts like, hey, this game is now available in your region. Check it out. Look at it. 50 bajillion downloads. Technically, I think our last event was, 19 bajillion downloads?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's probably a little bit of that, but also I don't know, like, I know that, obviously, Losangle and FGO directly announced new regions and new server locations and expanding its service interests, like, on their official site, but I don't actually know if there's, because we're not in those countries, obviously. I don't know if there's any, like, associated marketing push, right? But I'm sure it does something.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, stretching out my legs.
So, let's move on. This next one comes from the Tyrant King dragging a friend down the Genshin hole with me. Question! Hey, Lucky and Maggie, with that Station Cynthia and the Pokemon anime, which anime fights are your favorite? Card game anime counts as well? Question mark. Anyway, that's it for me. Sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And hope you have a nice weekend. Anime fights, huh?
That's a really hard one to narrow down. Like, I mean, I think for, like, pure just, the great cinematography for back on the 4x3 days, and just the amount of, like, memorable memeage, the original Valley, the end from Naruto, is really good. Because that was really, really well animated back in the SD days. And, was memed to hell for years.
If we're talking about that era, the original, it wasn't necessarily a fight, but the entire segment of Ichigo versus Byakuya at the end of the
that's
of the
another
end of the
really good one. It's also very iconic.
It's like, Rukia's about to get fucking, executed. Like, basically from that point to the fucking finale, that's just one big fight for me.
Well, and it is, and it's also got some other fights nested in it, but it's also got, like, really good dialogue. And the other thing with, like, old school Naruto has this as well, but, like, Bleach was really good with their soundtrack. Shout out to Shiro Shigatsu. Like, the iconic blend of, like, really... I can remember it very well. I don't remember the name of the giant bird stick, but, like, when Ichigo blocks that, there's, like, a very specific piece that plays, and then,
I can hear it right now.
Yeah. You can hear it, and then there's the transition. I think it depends on the episode. Number 1 doesn't always directly play. There's, like, another, like, really...
No, like...
as it's gearing up for the execution, and then Ichigo just stops, and he just, like, sup?
Yeah, no, it's... I know the thing. It's not, like, high pitch. It's just a song of wonder and what?
Yeah, it's one of their, like, really, like, ethereal, elevated songs. So there are a couple. But then there's also some, like, really iconic action pieces that get in there. Hell, just, like, immediately before, if you want to extend that even more, just immediately before that, that's also where Renji gets his Bankai for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And shows it off against Byakuya, and, like, there's some really good music mix in the visual effects. And back in the day, you didn't know what these things were going to be, like, seeing these characters busting out their moves, and then, like, the animation when Ichigo first uses his Bankai is, like, very iconic. Also used a lot of those Sakuga frames, where he's just everywhere,
really
just like,
I'm really excited for some new Bleach Sakuga though.
Yeah, I hope I hope they're going all out. I know that there were periods because Bleach was being animated, week to week, day to day, basically. There were some periods in some of those arcs where the animation got a little stressed, right?
Oh yeah,
that happens with every shonen series that, like, goes forever. I mean, everything Trigger does is just, like, a brilliant scene.
Well, I'm gonna go Proto Trigger, and I'm actually gonna. I think my absolute all-time favorite fight is the climax of the Tengen Toppa and Login films, because they do the same thing, but they go even further beyond.
It's hard to top throwing galaxies as shurikens, but
they did it in the movie. It was kind of fucking amazing. But no, Trigger. I think Trigger does, like, a lot of good fights, like Kill la Kill. There's so many good ones, and the good ones in there.
Yeah,
but I don't know if I would say
tight.
like
And Kill la Kill also has talking about building like favorite anime fights, right? It's not just the animation; it's also the acting, the story writing, and the musical elements. Like Kill la Kill has a killer soundtrack.
Yeah, you gotta pair the audio with the visual.
A lot of good animes have some killer sound design these days. Like they can get some really meaty hits.
Black Clover has some good fights.
I mean, hell,
UFO Table did not skimp in doing Demon Slayer, especially in the Red Light District arc. Those final few fights, and were amazing.
Speaking of UFO Table, obviously to go back to our Fate days, a very classic scene that is beautifully animated in Unlimited Blade Works, Shiro versus Gil. It's short, but they do all the iconic beats, and it's really good.
If we want to talk about I think my favorite Fate fight though is still Shiro and Medusa's versus Saber Alter from UB3. Not UB3. Heaven's Feel 3.
Yes, that's another very iconic one.
We're talking about the mesh of the visual and the audio. It just is so good.
Another one that's just completely stunning and batshit crazy. Karna versus Sieg in Fate Apocrypha, just crazy out of the wall. The animation is everywhere. Yeah, it's very intense, and it's combined with they had a banger main theme for Apocrypha. Flows together really well. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of good anime fight scenes.
There's so many out there. I can't it's hard for me to actually mention what is my favorite.
And it's because there's so many different eras. I would like to throw out My Hero Academia's anime has some great fights.
Oh, yeah.
Even though the stakes are, so low, Izuku versus Todoroki in the sports festival, again, the animation is just so nuts, and then they do the Yusei run, timed out perfectly for the beats, and the animation is just chef's kiss. Oh, it's so good. There's a lot of action packed in there, And hell, some good fights are simple and direct. They don't. Listen, choreo is really good, and we love flashy anime stuff. But you can just get in some up and down martial arts, just some up close stuff. A lot of good shit. And I'm sure that there's gonna be some weird. Looking at the trailers for Edge Runners, Trigger's gonna do some weird shit, and it's gonna be interesting to see because obviously they have a very strong anime background, but they don't really do sci-fi a lot, obviously, the Gynax boys, they have a lot of experience with mecha stuff, but it's very, very interesting to see those trailers for Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
I'm excited. Nah, it's just it's always hard to actually pin down your favorite.
Yeah, I would like to shout out some of the this is gonna be an old school reach, but some of the fights in the classic seasons, those original 3 seasons of Magical Girl Lyrical Nanoha, very infamous for its huge beam battles. Just very iconic. Again, great soundtrack. Izuku Nana doing the singing. And some of them were very great fights. And the hilarious one in the 3rd series where the big bad guy is just, I'm chilling in a maze. Nanaha's cool maze, bro. Anyway, giant beam. That's not really a fight, but it's the climax of an action sequence. It's just yeah, we're just gonna do that. We're just gonna blow up this maze. Why not? Giant laser beams. There's a lot of work you can do there.
Mm-hmm.
During the later seasons of Code Geass, there's some really slick mech fights. Anyway, we've mentioned about 9 million anime fights.
So, let us move swiftly on.
Yep.
This next one comes from Bunny Girl versus Opening 202 boxes in one sitting. Mistakes were made. They say, hello to the both of you. I have no questions this week, just having to opening up so many boxes. So many boxes. Hope to see you two in FF14 one day, and may those hunting quests best bless your rolls. Actually, did you put any more time into Final Fantasy 14 after I zonked out?
Yeah, I actually did the Hall of Novice stuff.
Oh, sick.
That you talked about. I was a little basic bitch. It was basically the tutorials you guys taught me with your words already, but it's still good to cover the basics. And it'll probably be important when I inevitably do have to switch classes because I am horrifically overleveled. But yeah, I put in a good 30-45 minutes after the stream ended.
Yeah, no, getting the brand new ring.
Streaming again on Thursday, but I was like, I want some me time, but also I feel like we're at the literal next MSQ is called The Science of the Seventh Dawn. I'm like, I feel like we're hitting some, like, important points. I do want to share those with the stream, but also I need some me time today.
Me time.
Me time is important, everybody. Make sure to take
it. It is. We need to figure out a way to get you some glamour prisms so you can start fashioning. But, let's see here. Yeah, I should probably get in today. I haven't been in on a couple days because I've been on that Yakuza 0. I'm starting my saga. So, moving on. This next one comes up, bucking up to watch some Magical Girls. Season's greetings, Lucky and Omega. Boy, it's September.
Don't you dare.
I got the itch to roll and was blessed with a Miyu and Ilya spook, so I guess this is a good catalyst to start watching Prisma. I also want to put my appreciation of the JP server ironing out the kinks before we get the game over here. I recently hopped back on JP for Anniversary and the summer. Just about every day during the summer event, there was a patch. They weren't too big, but it was frequent enough that I took note. There's a joke about JP being the beta sub for Global that I really love, especially when we get features and quality life improvements early. No question, just sharing my luck and putting the good vibes. The good vids. Thanks.
The good vibes.
The good vibes. Those are not vibes though, so we can't share those.
Yeah, what even would that be? I need to like isolate your vibe sound and like invert it or something. I could do that, by the way. I have a lot of tools with Audacity I don't fuck with, but that would require me to go back and find what specific time Lucky made a wah-wah sound and then go from there. But yeah, no, that's interesting, because obviously we don't play JP, because it would be a slight pain in the ass, and also it would be bad for our hearts and souls. But I know that, like, data updates in the middle of an event happen so infrequently with FGO, I'm like, oh, a data update, like when we do a new login, even if it's small. So to hear that that's very frequent with JP is interesting. I think it makes sense, since obviously that's the furthest along server. The jokes about, being the beta for Global are interesting, but I think we can say with the downloads and the money share, that's not technically true. But that is an interesting thing to note, and yeah, that is something I guess we can appreciate, because obviously Delightworks and Alasengal have been really dedicated to, in their words, bringing, the authentic JP experience to us over here in NA, but what they mean by that is, like, the best of the JP experience over here in NA, with quality of life early, software improvements earlier, and just in general, we've talked about this a lot, how FGO, NA/Global has been a lot more stable than JP has been at certain times. I mean, with early access, that is kind of true. Sorry, somebody in chat said people pay to get access to the beta. That is becoming increasingly more and more part of the marketing these days.
Oh,
Lucky's yawning.
Sorry.
We'll just have to excite with the next couple of questions.
Excite. Okay, sorry, I had to parse this next one here for a second.
There's a couple of errors in here.
So apparently their alias is Alf Question, I think. It's not. There's just no line breaks in this.
Yeah, it's alias Alf Question, lowercase question, all one line, 2 colons.
Actually, pre-reading this, I don't think I want to answer it, because I feel like you're trying to push us into competing, and I'm not for that. Like, you don't do PvP. Omega wins. Question solved.
Well, that's good, because my heroes were going to be Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Rogers. Alrighty. This is also... I suspected this would be the result. That's why I said the next couple of questions. Moving swiftly on. I did kind of like a hand-rolly, pointy gesture there, by the way, chat. Just kind of letting you know behind the scenes. I shouldn't gesture so much, because I'm fucking hot and sweaty again.
Oops.
It's warm in here.
Warm. But this next one comes from King of Apples, who got sidetracked because they got a new job, i.e. more haha money.
Hey, good for you.
Yeah. Question, now that the reveal of LB7 is slowly approaching, we must ask, will it be 2 parts or more? It's definitely going to be 2 parts, at least.
I mean, so, strictly speaking, technically, I think the idea is for it to be 1 part, because Nasu keeps talking about how simple and straightforward it is. He keeps making us very worried every time he says that. Like, it's literally every time that gets repeated in an interview, I feel like our collective community just doing the collar pulling gesture. Yeah, we're getting very worried in there. But I think actual Lost Belt 7 is supposed to be smaller than some of the stuff we've gotten recently, right? But we know that's not the end, so, like, is there stuff that, like, immediately comes after that? Or whatever? I don't fucking know. Like, it says a lot about Nasu as a writer and the Fate community as a community. The fact that he's like, oh, don't worry, it's a simple and straightforward adventure story. And we all just are like, concerned. Very concerned.
Concerned.
One fear. No fear. No fear. Little fear. God, I really do want to go back and play Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I do not think I have the fucking time. Anyway, questions for later.
Later.
But yeah, I get the feeling it'll be all one part drop that'll actually be branded LB7, but that doesn't mean anything in our day and age. And for all we know, it could be 2 drops. Nobody's commented on how many rolls of printer paper Nasu's used this time. So next stream, Mafia just backs up a fucking forklift and just crushes the table under rolls.
No,
of
I think
paper.
it's gonna be 2 parts. It's gonna kind of be like how because technically, if you want to like get down to it, technically LB6 is just one thing. They just have to stagger out the release dates because it was just so much.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna do something similar. Only it's just gonna be like 2 releases like very close together.
Yeah, and I could technically see that basically like time gating a story release.
Yeah.
Nasu killed 7 trees to make this lost belt. Oh, it's all just performance art. Nasu's gonna reveal at the end that the script size took exactly 7 trees worth of paper to produce for all the lost belts, and then he's like, "I am replanting those 7 trees." Oh.
That reminds me, there was some like weird lore going around somewhere that was apparently referenced in a magazine or an interview or something. I can't remember what it was.
I'm not surprised. We love.
I think it was something about the world was about to fucking like crack in half anyway or something.
They are telling us that like Lost Belt 6 is gonna like explode or something.
Can't remember what it was because I didn't actually like it was all on Twitter and it was just stuff I saw in passing. It wasn't something I actually doubled down on since it was like, a Japanese interview dealing with like content that's like 2 years in the future.
Twitter do be like that?
I don't know. But no matter how many parts it is or is not, I am excited for it.
Floor.
Gonna be there.
Well, we're going to some kind of trees in the underworld, so clearly basement.
You can't see me nodding vigorously, but I am.
So we descend into the basement.
So, we move on. This next one comes from Rotsiv, King of FGA is a precious commodity. Use it. No question, just want to remind people that FGA is easy to set up and will let you grind mats like the no-life whales of yore did 272 boxes with no probs and very little investment. That makes it sound like a scam.
It does kind of make it sound like a multi-level marketing thing. No, it's just that good.
It is useful and stuff, but just the way you pitched that to me, my immediate thought was, even though I know it works like that, was, wait a fucking minute.
FGA is easy to set up and will let you grind mats like the no-life whales of yesterday. I did 272 boxes with no problems and very little investment. My money down.
Hope you two and fellow fans have good luck with future roles, especially since GUDAGUDA YAMATAI was just announced Armpit Queen for life. This man letting his freak fly a little bit.
Listen, some people like armpits. I have been on an internet. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. If there's a body part, there's a person for it.
Definitely.
Some people are just, really into eyebrows, into earlobes. Somebody's got to be attracted to sexy knees. I don't fucking know. But hey, we'll see how good the rolls go. I'm at least going to throw monthly tickets at it because I think we even bought those yet.
Yeah, I'll probably throw what little I have at it. But I'm going to try very, very hard not to spend money on this. That is a very specific call out, Architect, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that out loud. I feel like I will summon something. I'm just gonna let it pass.
I will say though, I have seen a lot of those dojins though, a lot. But we shall move on.
Verily and furthermore.
Let's see here. This next one comes from Procrastinator Goes Brrr, and they say sending good vibes. Wah 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 wah. Well, nothing more to add about that, so let's just keep going on. This next one comes from Alias Zed, just Zed. This is cheeky. That's cheeky. They say, comment, hey, Lucky Meg, it's been a couple of weeks since I posted. Good to message you two, sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. Before I give a few salty statements. Oh, excuse me. Records from the throne. Late to say this, but I did get my Summer Orderline Data MP5 and protected her smile. Not all the world's evil, but dang close. In JP, I spent over 700 quartz on Summer 7 banner. On my targets, Summer Gareth, my final cat, no Summer Gareth, and 6 Lady Avalons. The Succubus Amoto is currently in timeout for Audacity. The silver lining that I now know that I may need to save up more to guarantee Summer Gareth in 2 years. No question, just only wish you two luck in your future roles. I don't understand how people how that happens to people. I really don't.
Yeah, I know sometimes people are, like, a lot of people bring up, like, but Lucky, you rolled, like, 13 Raikos, but that was the other way around, right? Like, the rarity was down. Technically, that makes more sense than if you'd rolled, like, 9 Rider, Saber Altars, Maid Altars trying to get a Raiko, right?
Right.
Obviously, in my own jokes, I have that experience where I did get MP3 Tombo before I got any, Summer Mordred, but that was, like, back when I was, a much smaller fish. I didn't even buy a full 80 pack on that, and I didn't really, like, go deep like a lot of people did, so I think that was just, really weird stats.
Mm-hmm.
But, hey, the people in the comments say it happens, so...
It happens.
It's an oof. I mean, you got the coins you need for your Lady Avalons, I guess. Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
Isn't it sad, Sachin?
Welcome's the best. Anyway, let's see here. Sorry, I opened up Blue Archive because I just realized Legendary was talking about the, they're giving 100 free rolls here. So it's just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, that's a lot of rolls.
Yeah.
I could have made some kind of food comment, but I won't. We've got, like, 2 questions left.
We do got 2 questions left. All right. So this next one comes from Kiwi, who says, so for context, I'm looking at the Slap and Lotto boxes and Grow front Let's Talk from a couple weeks ago, and I'm vaguely curious. Lucky, why did you put a rabbit over Shisho's boobs? Is it really likely to get a YouTube strike? No, the bunny is there because the bunny likes boobs and wants to lay down on them.
Yeah, so for context, I'm pretty sure... First of all, I think I added that in the edit.
You did.
You just did the default, and then we talked about hiding a Terabit in there, and I was just like, tucked him in there. So it was me who added that, Omega. So it was a joke we did, like, after recording. And to the question of, like, Lucky answered the question of why he's there. He's just living his best life, okay?
Yes.
Is it really likely to get a YouTube hit? Probably not. Honestly, like, butts and cleavage, YouTube usually is able to pick that out clothed versus not clothed. The thing that really seems to fuck YouTube up is, like, upper thigh to tummy area. Like, if those are, like, kind of contorted or put weird together, YouTube is just like, I don't understand what's going on here. I just see that there's a lot of naked skin. We have a problem. Mm-hmm. That's usually where we get weird shit. Like, occasionally we've gotten pinged for, like, some some really deep cleavage. I think, was it a Summer Carmilla? I had to tuck a fucking... Whoops, not in this Christian manga tab over. I've had to do a couple edits for YouTube Sanity over the years, but it's not a big deal. And also, honestly, it's not to, again, peek behind the curtain if you're curious, audience at home. I know this is kind of a thing people are asking about YouTube right now. It's not actually a strike. It's not even an age restriction. It's just, for the thumbnail anyway, YouTube just tells us, hey, you can't use this thumbnail. And I'm just like, okay, I'll edit it. And then YouTube proceeds to not really give a shit about the fact that I use the thumbnail in the actual video, but that just might be part of, like, the curve going on there. I've noticed a lot of people are examining YouTube kind of, like, not really sticking to their guns on, like, age restrictions or hits for things until they, like, reach a certain level. And in my personal experience, I personally think the way it works with YouTube is just YouTube is so huge that they don't notice anything until it's big, right? Like, they have algorithms, obviously, that can sense certain things when you, like, directly upload thumbnails or whatever, and they can do reports and stuff, but, like, if YouTube is not incentivized to realize that, like, is there something going on in your video that's an issue until, like, oh, shit, this guy got, like, 1 million views in a day. Let's take a closer look at that. Maybe we don't necessarily think this is advertiser-friendly, you know? And I think that's just a natural process of YouTube being fucking enormous. I don't know what the stats are, but it's crazy. There's multiple days worth of video being uploaded, like, every second, I think, last I checked. It's crazy. But yeah, no, it wasn't actually about that. That was a preemptive gag. It was for the lulz. Sorry, I'm just watching. Lucky posted a GIF, and it's just like, the cinematography is like, spooky, really dramatic. Cute girl.
Listen, Wakamo is a quite lovely girl who has restraint issues. Yes, that's what I'm going to call them, restraint issues.
Yeah, we posted the really good GIF of just the drifting, and I just hear the fucking shooting stars in my head.
Also, Wakamo has caught me on to the Japanese Type 99. I'm like, I want one.
I wonder if we could do more. YouTube yelled at me to, like, do shorts the other day. You know, get in on 8 billion views or whatever, and I'm like, YouTube, I really don't know how our content would translate to shorts. Maybe we could figure out a series of Terabit in places he shouldn't be, but that's thought for later.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the last one before I flood the Patreon with Wakamo gifts.
Yeah.
So, this last one comes from Agent 418 who says, "Hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good weekend." Same to you!
You too, buddy. Alrighty. And that is Mailbag. And that means it's time for Chaldeas Free Talkius. Robyn, if that is not the name of this time code, you're fired, and then you're rehired. Not that you're actually hired, because you do it for free, as a joke. I gotta be honest, I don't think I could concentrate Wanted into 60 seconds, because that's the thing. Shorts are really short. They're like TikTok Vine type shit. I think it has to be under 60 seconds. If you sped me up, I could probably, like, compact some stuff into it, but, like, I usually try to be fairly decently detailed in Wanted. I don't know how I could break it down to, like, 60 seconds other than just listing what a servant does, like, skill-wise and when their banner is. That content might work. I don't know. We can experiment with some stuff. Anyway, it's free talk now, though. It also has to be, like, portrait organized, which I don't even know how to do, because I don't think it does that by itself. But that's a video editing question. Anyway, it's time to tell y'all about the GUDAGUDA YAMATAI pregame. Hopefully you guys are very excited for that, because it's a pretty interesting one. Obviously, we make a lot of jokes about the rice fields and the QP fields, so I know that's what a lot of people are looking forward to. Yes, there is a literal QP farming mechanic. I will explain it in a second. But it is time for our yearly GUDAGUDA. It's fairly early for us. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this was mid to late October previously, so we're getting it like a month early. That's nice. Giving us content. And I think the best way to describe Yamataikoku is it's another one of those currency-based or construction-type events. It's akin to, like, Summer 1 or Enmate or other events like that. There is a limited mission list, but primarily you're going to farm free quests to get reconstruction materials, they are called, and then you spend those materials in special reconstruction quests to unlock new main quests and improve your harvesting quests, which are timed quests that will give you resources, which you can level up for even more resources per timer.
Hey, Mega, cut you off real quick. I did double check. The original Yamatai ran from October 9th to October 23rd.
Okay, so yeah,
so it's about
October.
Yeah, so it's about a full month early.
Yeah, which is nice. Thumbs up, everybody. It's always good to keep that content going, because I don't know what we would do in September without it. This year was weird. But, as I said, your primary focus, you're going to farm reconstruction materials, you're going to build fields. That'll advance your main story content and keep you going. Main story quests are also time-gated. You know, they release, so many every day. And also, as a warning, there are raids. There's also a back half, so this will be a quite dense event, which should be nice after some of the, dense in terms of different stuff to do and different story to do. Not just push button over and over again, though you'll probably do a decent amount of that. Additionally, the main quests are actually quite lengthy, very different from Grailfront. There's a lot of content here. You're looking at a prologue, an epilogue, 10 acts, and 9 quests in Part 2 after you complete the first half of the event, right? So completing all of these will net you a copy of the 3-star CE, some CE XPs, 16 St. Quartz total, a Grail, a lore, and a lot of FP. Yes, actual doses of friend points are part of the main story quest rewards as well. Gee, I wonder why. Additionally, if you are trying to time out your logins, right, because you want to be in for that primo raid time, the raids open after Act 7. Act 7 is what of the main story is what opens the raid, so keep your eye out for that. Also, one of the main story quests is going to be a solo battle with Okita versus the new boy Saito to unlock her costume, so her costume is in main story clearage. Now, these main story quests, they involve a lot of break bars and a lot of enemies changing type. Expect to see a lot of Haniwa Nobus, which are various classes and various levels of difficulty, which will turn into normal enemy servants. There is also a new mob, Dark Shinsengumi, who are sabers and some story-only saber bosses, so pack your archers. Again, gee, I wonder what they're going for here. So, in main story, mobs and mini-bosses are pretty typical for this period of gameplay. They can have anywhere like 100k HP. Bosses will usually have between 100 and 200k per break bar. As usual, expect enemies to do stuff when you break their bars, but also a decent number of story fights, the main quest fights, and when you break their first bar. So, you don't have to do as much as you think you do. A good break from story content, which have, fights you are forced to lose. Instead, these are fights that end early. Nice. Now, in the main story, there's not a lot of specific boss mechanics to watch out for, but classes are going to be pretty varied. This is the GUDAGUDA crew, so expect to see some weird stuff in there, like Avenger, Alter Ego, Ruler, etc. There's a boss in Act 6, Chapter 6, who charges their NP to max on bar break, so watch out for that. As does the final act boss, the boss you have to beat to get your Grail. So, again, be aware of enemies randomly charging NP to full when you break their bars. I know we hate it, but they still do it. There is also some stuff with, like, getting tagged with fear or curse in some fights as you break bars and go on. But there's also seems like there's a decent amount of story buffs as well, so your servants and your front lines will get super buffed up to do story stuff, which, we always love. It's always a great show.
Yeah.
In terms of NPC support, expect to see the likes of Himiko, Saito, but also Ogita, Izo, Kagetora, Hichikata, etc. All your GUDA-GUDA friends spilling up there. Now, the raids. I know you're keen on this, because this will give you lots of your big boy farming. Though mostly currency drops, reconstruction material drops in QP. Let me double check the materials, but I don't remember them being too crazy, though they do have some mats drops. So let me actually check what the drop rates for these are. But while I'm doing that, each raid has a 3 million kill limit, so it's a kill limit raid, not a total HP.
Okay.
And there are 7 classes, so there's 7 total raids. They're all the core Fate classes, so Saber, Archer, Lancer, Raider, Caster, Assassin, Berserker. I believe there may be some slight, there's obviously a normal time limit, but there might be some slight, focus requirements as well. Yeah, okay, so each raid boss looks like they drop 2 mats, plus they may or may not drop some skill gems, the appropriate type. So, let's see. Yeah, Rider is eggs and steaks. Expect that one to fucking disappear immediately. Yeah, none of them are too crazy. Assassin does have the new silver crowns, so keep an eye out for that one as well. But other than that, it's probably going to be just whatever you feel like doing. Additionally, so there's 7 classes. There's 7 total different raids. Each raid boss has a 260k, 450k, and 680k HP version, all of which cost 40 AP. There's no break bars or anything. It's just big, chunky HP values. You get better drops the higher HP you go, so obviously if you can, because it's just life-based, if you can do the higher level HP values, you should, so you can get better drops, but you don't have to. You could just run the lowest HP amount if you really want to. It's just you won't get some of the big boy drops that way. It looks like some of the higher level raids have some fairly fat drops of QP possible. You can get, drops of 500k QP, etc. So some big stuff there. All of them have their own unique little start of battle effects, all theirs that goes out there. So, for instance, Saber gives you, gives your whole party burn at the start of the battle. That's pretty, easy to deal with. The Archer raid has Guts. The Lancer raid gains 2 hits of Invul at the start of the battle. As somebody pointed out, the Rider is the most annoying one. That's the steaks and eggs one. That resets your party's NP gauge to 0. Oof. So don't even fucking bother with starting NP. Caster has a chance to give you buff nullification for 3 turns. That also sucks. That's pretty nasty. Assassin inflicts curse for 3 turns, pretty normal. Berserker is chance to evade for 3 turns. So all of them have their own quirks and stuff. I won't really get into the details of what they're like, but they're out there, they do stuff. They have some variants. So scratch my eyebrow. Keep those in mind. That should be fun. Obviously, if you don't want to go ham, you don't gotta, but there are missions related to clearing the raids, so you might want to make sure that, you do your part. We don't want to lag behind. Speaking of which, the mission list is only 30 deep. It's one of those more compact lists. It's very straightforward. You need to just defeat enemies, get drops, both regular currency drops and reconstruction. Do reconstruction quests and harvest quests, and clear all the raids. So actually, when the raid boss is defeated, those will clear. So, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You'll get a couple of things in there. I believe the command codes are in the mission list. Let me actually tab over there. Yeah, so your command codes will be in the mission list, your usual stuff, your code unlockers. There's a single ticket in there. There's some FP, some skill gems. There's a lore in there. I believe you get the lore for, clear the first 22 missions, you get a lore. And there's 5 million QP in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that should be pretty simple, pretty basic. You'll probably hit them pretty easy. You don't even have to, go hunting anything specific. Just make sure to keep clearing content. And free quests are, thankfully, back to being monoclass completely. And most of them aren't weird. The highest HP in a free quest caps out at 210k. By the way, this is an event with bonus damage, so Very small beans there. And most are thankfully much lower than that. The only thing I need to warn you about is the layout of the final node, the best node. I believe the best farming node because it gives you all the drops, which is Lancers, by the way. That is a 2-1-3 pattern, so 2 enemies in wave 1, 1 enemy in wave 2, 3 enemies in wave 3. Depending,
that's definitely the anti-3 turn.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but again, with bonus damage in this event, and like I said, the final boss of that one is the one that has 210. You should not have too many problems dealing with that. So, have some fun, try them out. You got a couple different combos, and like I said, they're all monoclass, so no more switching midway through. Now, doing free quests and all this stuff will get you various materials. Sorry, bumped my mic arm. There's 3 kinds. There's clay, there's hardwood, and there's thatch. Pretty basic bitch shit. You spend these on reconstruction quests to advance the story and beef up your harvest quests. Your harvest quests are all on timers, like real-life timers, Earth hours, as we say. And there are 5 areas that you're going to reconstruct. The rice paddy gives you QP every 8 hours. The residences give you FP, friend points, every 8 hours. The wheat fields give EXPs every 8 hours. The midden gives you dust and eventually seashells every 12 hours. And the workshop gives you crystals and eventually also comet shards every 12 hours. And if you're curious about like the level of that, when you fully upgraded it, the rice paddy gets you 3 million QP every 8 hours.
That is not a small number.
Yes. Residences is 1k friend points every 8 hours. When you fully level the wheat fields, that's 2 5-star EXPs, all, by the way, every 8 hours. The midden is 2 void dust, 2 seashells, and the workshop is 2 octoplet crystals, 1 comet shard every 12 hours. So, not perfect, but if you're doing your leveling up and you're making sure to check in every couple of hours, and especially for the 12 hours, you just need to remember to check, twice in the period, you're not really losing anything. That's a decent influx of stuff. The QP is especially well respected, and I suspect some people will be setting 8-hour alarms just so they can get their 3 million QP. Now, I have an important pre-game note for you. If you do a reconstruction quest on a facility, on a place, that resets your timer, and if you have unharvested items there, those are lost. So harvest, then upgrade. Remember this. If you do a reconstruction quest to upgrade while you've got, QP sitting in the fields, you will lose that QP, so don't do it in that order. But obviously, if it resets the timer, depending on what you're doing with your day, if you're like, well, I'm 1 hour into my 8-hour timer, but I have this stuff to upgrade now, you're just losing an hour. It's not a big deal. But if you're like an hour away, maybe don't upgrade. Harvest first, then upgrade, like I said. Now, to aid you in this journey, there are bonus servants, of course. Not only giving you a damage and a bond bonus, but a drop bonus on your reconstruction materials. I do believe it is merely +1, but still, extra materials. Doubling your counts. Obviously, with these type of events, all of our new servants are going to be worth the most bonus. So, Saito, Nobukatsu, and Himiko are all plus 100% damage, plus 50% bond, and increase all 3 drops, so that's good. Okita, Emiya, Nobu, Kagetora, Ryoma, Medusa, MHX, Old Man Lee, Izo, Hijikata, Chacha, Mori, Maonobu, Ogitan, and Mash, who I accidentally double capitalized there, sorry about that. They're all 50% damage up and 20% bond, and Mash is the 5% to all as usual. Gilgamesh, Tuaratota, Columbus, Red Hair, Kirki, Avike Braun, Medea, Chengong, Summer Okita, and Summer Nobu, Lubu, and Space Ishtar are all plus 30% damage and also plus 20% bond. So you've got a decent variety. That Space Ishtar is probably going to be pretty spicy for that farm in there. And additionally, the way that, other than those, key 3 new units, the way that the extra drops are broken up is all Sabers, Riders, and Berserkers increase your Thatch drops. All Archers, Casters, and your 2 Avengers increase your Log drops. And your 1 Lancer, your Assassins, and your other extra classes, Alter Ego and Shielder, increase your Clay drops. So, you've got a decent spread over multiple classes. I think that the class bonuses should sync up with, the free quests and stuff. So, you should have a decent variety of servants you can pick for your spread. Obviously, lots of past welfares, if you have them, are on that list, so a number of people playing for a long time should have decent access. There's a lot of low-rarity servants on that list as well. So, decent collection of things. And, of course, in addition to you working on your mission list and your reconstruction quest to increase your harvest, there's a regular shop for regular currency drops. You can acquire 4 copies of the Damage CE. Damn it. Yes, only 4. You got
Big
30
fist.
missions, guys. You could have fit in there, but no, you had to give me one single gold apple and one single summon ticket. Gotta be real. I think I would take the 5th copy of the CE over one single gold apple, though I know some people who have no apples and they probably wouldn't, but still. Actually, no, they probably still would because you're gonna spend that gold apple farming that extra CE copy anyway.
Probably.
Anyway, yeah, it's unfortunate you only get 4 copies of the damage CE, but it is a damage CE, so it's the usual combo of 1 copy is plus 100, MLB is plus 200, so that's a lot of damage, as we like to say. And people are probably going to be racing for those shop copies because of raids. But the store also contains the usual bevy of foes, EXPs, CE EXPs, not only available as drops and as quest rewards, but also in the shop. But you can also acquire materials such as bullets, fangs, lanterns, seeds, arrows, Hydra vodka, pages, cores, and mirrors. You can also obtain assassin, archer, and berserker statues, and you have an unlimited exchange for reconstruction materials. So if you have more currency drops than you're getting reconstruction drops, you can convert them. I think it costs you 10 of each currency for 1, but it is unlimited, so if you're like grossly overfarmed, you can turn that around pretty fast. A decent system, yes. I think certain previous like constructy farmy type events would have gotten a lot smoother if you could just buy more stuff in the store. The summon banner should be new SSR ruler Himiko, SR Saber Saito, and the full spread of event CEs, but also in the FP gacha. Not only will you have access to the 3-star CE, but CE XPs will be on Raid Up, and the 1-star archer Nobukatsu will be in the FP gacha during this time period. I have like 2 million FP, so I am ready to rumble. Additionally, it is my understanding, and chat can obviously catch me on this, but Grail Forging, that mechanic which is not added yet, but will be used as surplus coins, I believe. Surplus servant coins. So as a pro strat, it's a good idea to roll lots of spare Nobukatsus while you can. There's a double free FP summon. That wasn't in my notes, but that makes sense. There's also a fuck ton of FP in the event, and you can farm it, so yeah. So make sure to hit up your FP gacha for extra stuff. And honestly, that should be it. It seems like it's going to be a pretty dense event. I'm very happy for a 16-part story, including a back half.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we got all the business, raids, QP farms, lots of fun times, rolling FP for Nobukatsu. And that should be everything. So back to the QP fields, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and can I just say, what a golden meme it is that there is a literal QP farm that is the rice paddy, right? Like, I don't know when that came about in the design process, who decided that, but shout out to you, sir, or madam. Chef's kiss. It's just perfect. Simply sublime. But yeah, should be pretty fun, and like I said, you'll have a decent chance to meet and test out all the various characters. Got a decent chunk of Saint Quartz rewards. There's a couple tickets tucked in there. I know everybody goes apeshit over raids, so that'll be fun. And yeah, seems like it'll be a good time. I'm very interested to see if the new GUDAGUDA, the Shin Yamataikoku, will be any similar. Given they talk about this tea ceremony battle, I could see tea farming as a mechanic somehow. So we'll have to see how that goes. That stream will be on the 14th, which technically will be a little earlier than that for us over here in the US time zones and other time zones. But shortly after, we'll get our own GUDAGUDA, and I wish you all the best of luck. Happy farming. Don't go too apeshit fucking up your sleep schedule for the QP farms. You know, like I said, I know some of you are going to go crazy and set alarms every 8 hours, but, you know, you'll be all right. Actually, this is a good question. People who played on JP, do you know, is there a push notification for your harvesting quests? I know FGO sometimes does stuff like that, like it does that for BP refilling and stuff in previous raid events and whatnot. If there isn't, you may want to keep track of some timers, obviously.
I don't think there's ever been a point in my life when a push notification has actually woken me up, or maybe actually...
Oh, yeah, God, no, I don't think a push notification would wake you up. God knows it wouldn't wake me up, because every single thing on my phone is, like, on silent all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, at the very least, if you have it in your back pocket while you're going about your day, you know, because it's every 8 hours, right? So, there's a chance for that to proc 3 times it? Yeah, I think it's only 3? No, 4. 24 hours. That's 4 8s. I'm not crazy, right?
Yes, you are. 4 8s is 32.
No, sorry. Yeah, it's 3 8s. It is 3. Okay.
Yes.
I was right the first time. I just did my math wrong, because I was like, wait, 24? That's an 8 from 16. But no, you're right. I counted an extra. For some reason, I was counting 16 as 3 8s already. No, that's wrong. That's very wrong. So 3 is correct, yes. So you've got 3 procs during the day. Only one of those may happen while you're sleeping, probably.
Probably.
And obviously the two 12-hour ones, you can only get 2 procs per day. So, not crazy. You don't need to worry about that one fucking up your sleep schedule. Though I'm sure some people will appreciate them seashells. I know you guys go apeshit about it.
I literally have 0 seashells, so I will definitely want them.
Yeah, well, you can get 2 every 12 hours if you upgrade it.
Get a Neum.
And it's only 1 Comet Shard, but still, that's a decent way to get those materials out.
Every bit counts.
I should also say, because the official announcement hasn't come out yet, FGONA has been pretty good about tucking the, Lost Belt 6 or Lost Belt 5.5 mats into the store in there somewhere. I have absolutely, literally no idea what that could be, but there probably will be an extra material in the store.
Probably.
I just have no way of knowing what it would be because, like I said, they have not officially posted the full news list unless they did it while we were recording, which I don't think they did. But yeah, so keep that in mind, everybody. And, I wish you best of luck. Hope you have fun. And that is the pregame. Like I said, look forward to a Wanted sometime next week on Himiko. I'll figure that out all with my schedules and my whatnots. Let's see, the only other business, obviously it's still, fairly early in a new month. Obviously that means we, love to see your Patreon patronage. We've got polls. As usual, the fail portrayal poll is a nightmare of people trying to fuck with me. There's no way this tie isn't intentional, but anyway, Fanservant Friday poll is still going strong. Actually quite surprised. Lancer Egle is leading, but for once, Lamopin is actually in second place.
Yay!
And we've only got 14 votes on that, so there's still plenty of time left to vote, and there's still people who can vote. And you got about a week left in that poll, so if you want to shake that up for our Fanservant Friday sometime later this month, go ahead and support us on Patreon. No, Cypherm isn't winning. It's tied with DDD at 6. I'm fairly certain someone is like I said, somebody is fucking with me. I don't think they're fucking with Dallas, because Dallas doesn't decide what we do. And actually, that's something that should emphasize my point. By the way, I'm the only one who has to deal with whatever you guys vote on the poll, like scheduling it, so you fuck with nobody else other than me, other than the fact that whatever hell you sentence the rest of the Fail Portrayal crew to. But, Oakley Dokley, there's our regular Patreon check-in. So obviously, next week's show will be Friday, so we should have the stream out of the way for the new GUDAGUDA in JP, obviously.
Yeah, new servants.
Yeah, new servants, hopefully an animated CM, event details, whatever. If there's actually, farming the QPT, we'll be able to tell you about it, etc. Whatever other mechanics. I do definitely feel like GUDAGUDA, they like to get a little experimental, That's where we had, Nobunaga's ambition and whatever. Alright, calm down. I'll see the end results of the poll eventually. Also, we'll be able to give you our first impressions on GUDAGUDA YAMATAI in English. Hopefully they'll be positive.
Okay,
That's a good phone. See how things are going. People can talk about how their QP fields are. All, kinds of businesses and whatnots and wadoodles. And obviously any other surprises that may be in store. And I'm sure we'll have a wealth of questions in that mailbag about how people are doing, right? Right? Anyway, we're wrapping up here. Sorry, rolling my neck. As usual, if you want to catch more of us, obviously, some days the show is a little lean and mean, because there's only so much to talk about.
Yep.
So, if you want more of us, be sure to check out What's Up, our podcast stream about anything and everything. That is live on Saturdays, usually after Let's Take FG goes public for everybody on YouTube. So, check that out. We stream stuff. We talk about things. We also stream every Monday for several hours. We actually managed to defy all expectations and dunk on everyone and actually finish the first game of Great Ace Attorney Chronicles last week. So that whole series is out there. That reminds me, I should stitch together some playlists. Should put together a Gensekai playlist because our first batch of playtest episodes, all 6 of them are finished. So you can go check out all of those in that series right now, talking about quote-unquote complete stories. At the very least, there won't be any more for a few more weeks. So check out APs. And also, like I said, check out our Greatest Attorney backlog. And on this upcoming Monday, Lucky will be starting to play the original Mega Man X.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm also very excited. It's classic. My brain tried to make me do 4 different Mega Man X songs with my mouth, so I had to stop myself. Expect much gushing about the music. And also currently, because other projects are delayed, somebody alluded to this earlier, but I am also streaming my journey through Final Fantasy XIV every Wednesday. For reals this time, since I actually made my character. There may or may not be bonus streams depending on how I feel about stuff. But Wednesday's my locked-in day for that as well. And I usually do that not only with Lucky, but with the rest of the 14 boys in our server. So, the rest of the crow's nest. So you can get a lot of us then. Stuff, things, poking things, throwing my pokey stick at things. I really love throwing my pokey stick at things. It's very funny. What's that? You're gonna do like 9 million circles around yourself? Too bad. Back here throwing my stick. It's fun. Maybe I'll pick a ranged DPS class as my ult. Anyway, that's a question and comment for later.
I think you'd enjoy being a machinist, honestly.
The problem is, I think, isn't that another expansion class?
It is.
We'll get there.
I think the only ranged DPS then you have access to is Archer. Then,
yes, probably. Well, that'll be easy to switch. That's also in my other hometown. Don't know much about Archer or Bard, but you shoot people with stuff. Oh, is it Heavensward? So it would be in the free trial. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Well,
yeah, that's what I meant. It's like it's in the
Got to progress my content a little, but I'm sure we can get there.
Mm.
We can try it out. We can see things. I'm having fun. We'll talk more about that probably tomorrow or later today, depending on when you're listening to this on WhatsApp, and obviously on future 14 streams. Okay. Let's see. Any other stuff I want to get out there? Now, I've already mentioned that I'm planning on releasing a one for Himiko to keep your eyes out on that. Patrons do get access to Wanteds early. Sometimes several days early, depending on when I get around to actually rolling out the video when the process is complete. So, keep that in mind. Support us on Patreon. It's good. I had to buy a $70 controller. I don't have any left stick drift anymore, though. It's great.
I really, really need to get that Switch controller so I can catch up on my Switch games. I'm just like, I don't want to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, I know. It's rough. I think my controller, my PS5 controller, was bad for like a month before I finally got up the stones to fucking buy a new one. And it's actually it's pretty funny you mention that, because I was just thinking about, because I was we're not quite at 2 hours of raw recording. We can faff around a little bit. I was thinking about Switch games actually and Switch streaming. Not that we really need anything to like put in the hopper. But obviously I think we had a pretty good time when you did Skyward Sword. And there's a lot of really good stuff on the Switch.
I mean, if it ain't like any Legend of Zelda games you want to do, I am down. I'll take control or sit back and watch you play any day.
Well, yeah, I know you talked about doing Link's Awakening. We could do Breath of the Wild, but that one feels like that would be asking for trouble almost. What's the cutoff of Breath of the Wild? Are we trying to do all the shrines? Are we trying to speedrun Ganon? What's the vibes there? I don't know.
I would play it like I would my first time. Is I would just play what I would consider a normal game of just try and get all the bees, not die horrifically, and go attack the cancel at a reasonable amount of preparation. That's how I played That's what I did my first time.
Yeah,
I did have a bit. Like I was gonna say, like, and if we did do Breath of the Wild, I would do like all the extra faffing, like running around, like off camera,
as you do. But the thing I was actually going to ask was about another. I've been thinking about this because I was watching a Let's Play of this, but another landmark Switch title that came out very recently. Lucky, did you ever get around to playing Super Mario Odyssey?
Oh yeah, I beat it.
Okay, yeah. So we've both beaten it. I don't know. I mean, I was just rewatching it. And I'm actually I started a new file, but that might be interesting to share with people. I don't know.
I'm okay with I thought Odyssey was an okay game, but in all, I'm not a big fan of the Mario series.
That's fair. I know. I think I'm a little bit more of a classic Mario head because I've got all those talking about Zelda stuff. I've got all the Mario games that came out for Switch, the 3D World reprint, the re-release they did of all the 3D Marios. That was a little bit of a letdown, but still kind of cool that they.
Yes, Tirana, you did miss the Wakamo banner. It only went on for 4 days.
Farina. Mm-hmm. Short but sweet. But yeah, that was just a thought I had. But also, I don't think for the rest of this year we really need to add more games to our plate per se.
Probably not, no.
Because there's a lot of video games coming out. I've just talked about how I'm planning on wrapping up Saints Row, and then I want to do Destroy All Humans 2 remastered next. But also, it's right there in the monthly picks. PlayStation is like, yo, dog, you want to play Cult of the Lamb? And I was a teenage exocolonist, only $25 each, and I'm just like, vibrate. Hold on, let me finish.
I really do want to play fucking I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Damn you.
Yeah, no, it looks really rad. I know a lot of people have been playing Cult of the Lamb as well. So I'll have to figure out what I'm doing. There's a new Cyberpunk patch we're probably going to talk about that actually has new gigs. I probably need to spend like a couple hours wrapping those up sometime. But if you want us to yell more about you always want us to yell more about video games. But if you want to hear more yelling about video games, I mean, it's not really broke boy. It's just time management. My bank account's not going to die if I drop $50 on 2 new video games. The question is, do I want to do that right now? And I'm like, no, I want to finish another video game first. And then I have like 3 or 4 other video games I could pick from. Not counting the fact that video games continue to come out. But if you enjoy this kind of fabbery, this is just what's up if you haven't ever listened to it. So check it out. Check out our backlog. And yeah, I think that'll be the show for this week. We have crossed the 2-hour mark on the Raw recording. Obviously, that'll shorten down some. But it's getting late. I'm quite warm. I need to go refresh my cool bottle of water.
Hydrate.
So I think we'll see you guys next time for more Let's Talk FGO next week. And like I said, if you want more of us just talking, plenty of opportunities throughout the week. Make sure to try those out. And we'll see you later. So, usual outro shenanigans. If you like this video, be sure to give it a like. It does help. It does do stuff if you like the video. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. I don't know. Leave your comments about opinions on armpits. I don't know. Whatever the call to action is. You can also join our Discord. That link is in the video description and on our channel page. Our Discord is full of fun people who will yell about stuff and post their roles in the correct thread. But check that out. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to get more. We do this show every week. We do lots of other streams and shows throughout the week and stuff. So, make sure your sub is up so you can catch all those. And also consider ringing that bell for notifications if you're already subs. You know when we're posting a new video. And once its public release dates are sometimes a little chaotic depending on what physical time-space plane banners actually occur in. Thanks, Albert. So, give that a gander. And, of course, consider supporting our channel via memberships. You can click the little join button or a link in the description as well. Get access to membership badges and emotes you can use anywhere, including in Mailbag. Use them in our comment section. Use them in our live streams. It's a very fun time. Help support us. And you can also, like I said at the beginning of the show and earlier, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to the audio version of this show for as little as $1 a month or about $10 a year. At higher levels, you can vote in topic polls. You can get access to certain video releases early. You can, at a high enough level, listen to us record Let's Talk FGO live every week, get on our shoutouts, etc., etc., and it's a good time for us. Thank you all for tuning in for this week. We'll see you next Tim.